Myself, Professor Mamta Patel, presently working at Department of Criminology and Forensic Science, Dr. Harisingh Gour University, Sagar, MP, India. Today I am going to talk on an important issue of global scenario, that is Sexagenarians to Centenarians, women victims of rape, causes and consequences of crime. Introduction. There is now an extensive body of literature examining sexual abuse of females. However, there remains an important gap in relation to older women who have been almost entirely absent from research, policy, and practice developments. Traditionally, age has been reviewed as a protective factor for sexual abuse, and both criminologists and gerontologists have largely neglected those aged over 60 in their studies. Hence, in this paper, I have selected cases in which the victims were sexagenarians to centenarians. Now, I would like to discuss in detail on these introductory points. Elderly population global scenario. People worldwide are living together longer. Today, most people can expect to live into their 60s and beyond. Every country in the world is experiencing growth in both the size and the proportion of older person in the population. At this time, the share of the population aged 60 years and over will increase from 1 billion in 2020 to 1.4 billion by 2030. By 2050, the world's population of people aged 60 years and older will double, 2.1 billion. The number of persons aged 80 years or older is expected to triple between 2020 and 2050 to reach 426 million. Number of reported cases in India in 2021. In 2021, the total number of rape cases reported in India amounted to over 31,000. This was an increase in rape cases compared to previous year. Even though many rapes are not reported in country, it is an issue that continuously makes news headlines, some leading to public protests. Although reports of rape have increased in recent years, it was still associated with shame for the victim rather than the perpetrator. Aging in India. This slide is showing that the data of 2019 and 2050. Population aged 60 and above 13 crore 96 lakhs. In 2050, in India, it will be a 31 crores. You can compare easily that is going on. Population aged 60 and above percent of total population, that is 10.1% in 2019. In 2050, it will be a 19.5 of total population. Older women aged 60 plus percent of total population, that is 5.15, and in 2050 it will become 10%. Life expectancy, males 68.11, and in 2050 it will be a 73.61. Now, this is a table of crime in India, rape against senior citizens. Data compiled by National Crime Records Bureau in the year 2021. Total 78 cases were reported in states and union territories. Data shows that cases pending investigation from previous years, 39, cases reported during the year, 78, cases ended as final report, false, 1, cases true but insufficient evidence, 3, Cases charge sheeted out of cases during the year 63. Cases pending investigation at end of year 34. Cases sent for trial during the year 79. Cases composed 0. There is no case. Cases disposed of by plea bargaining, there is also no case. Cases convicted, 3 cases. Cases discharged, 1. Cases acquitted, 6. Cases disposed of by courts, 10. Conviction rate, 30%. Pendency percentage, that is 97.1%. The main objective of the study is to know about the causes and consequences of rape against elderly women. Methodology. The research included news regarding sexually victimized elderly women from the print media and the e-media, spanning 18 years period from January 2004 to December 2021. 69 cases of elderly victims of rape were found reported both in print media and electronic media, and their contents have been analyzed systematically by using the unobtrusive method. Only the crimes committed in India and cases against Indian elderly women have been chosen through secondary data. The data were analyzed and tabulated by using the frequency and percentage. For the diagrammatic representation, Excel software was used to represent the data in an easier form. Result and discussion. So there are 8 points we have chosen for this study, that is nature of crime, scene of crime, residence, victim-offender relationship, victim's age, offender's age, number of offenders in each case, and law and order. Nature of crime. So we can see easily in this PPT, that is rape, multiple rape, gang rape and robbery, gang rape and murder, assault and rape, robbery and rape, robbery, gang rape and attempt to murder, robbery, rape and murder, rape and attempt to murder, rape and murder, attempt to rape and murder. So you can see the percentage of this type of crime. So nature of crime shows that the highest number of cases, that is 52.17%, belong to only rape offenses against the victims. Whereas in other cases, twin crimes, triple crimes, or repeated crimes were committed against the victims of rape, that is 47.83%. This study reveals that in more than 1/4 of the cases, the victims were murdered after the commission of rape. The data also reveals that in twin crimes, murder was in the highest number, which was committed against the elderly victims. It shows that brutality was used by the culprit. Scene of crime. Now we will discuss about the scene of crime. Scene of crime is very important to understand any type of crime. Table shows that nearly 70% cases were found committed inside the door, whereas 30.43% were outdoor the scene of crime. Only one case, it was found at mobile crime scene, that is 1.44%. Now move to the another slide, that is residence of victim. There is no much differences between urban and rural residences of victims of crime. 55.07% were urban dwellers, whereas 44.92% were rural dwellers. Victim-offender relationship. In 61.20, we can see that cases offender were known to the victims. In 38 point, we can say this slide, we can see that in known person 78.26% and unknown were only 34.78. Only one case we are seeing here, that is, it was not mentioned in this study. So we can understand about that. It is very tough that who was that person. The victim offender relationship may contain the origin of victimization. In this study, 2.04% of offenders were family members, 4.08% were relatives of the victims, 55.1% were acquaintance persons, and 38.77% were strangers. Among the family members, the son was the culprit of the crime. In the case of relatives, brother-in-law and son-in-law were involved. Acquaintances and neighbors were the highest in number, and others were villagers, domestic helpers, cook, son's friend, tenant's son, sanitation worker, employer's husband, rickshaw puller, and laborer. In some cases, offenders were found in an inebriated state. Now we will go for the victim's age. This is the main work in this study. That is, the victim's age indicates that the highest number of victims were in the age group of 60 to 64. That is 26.08%. In 11.59% cases belong to 65 to 69 year of age group, 20.28% cases of 70 to 74 years, 11.59% cases of 75 to 79 years, 11.59% cases of 80 to 84 years, 1.44% cases of 85 to 89 years, 10.14% case of 90 to 94 years, and 1.44% cases of 95 to 99 years old victims. Then 4.34% cases of 100 to 104 years, and 1.44% cases of 105 and above years of age group. Nearly 1/3 of the cases belong to the age of 75 and above. Victim's age shows that above 105 years of age, elderly were also victimized by the offenders. You can see through the bar diagrams we have prepared for. At a glance, you can understand all the things very well. Now, it is time to know about the offender's age. So, nearly 50% offenders' age were mentioned in this study. So, in reported cases, we can understand very well that it is very difficult to know all the things clearly. But whatever they have given in the newspapers and other e-contents, so we have got 50% age offenders' age. So it was mentioned in this study, and they were less than 60 years of age. So when we compare between the victims and the offenders, we can find that the victims were 60 and above of ages, and culprit or offenders were, or perpetrators were less than 60 years of the age. You can see easily that is what is the age group of the offenders. On the whole, 6 offenders were less than 18 years of age, 10 offenders were age group of 18 to 22 years, and 12 offenders were between the age group of 23 to 27. So you can see that most of the offenders belong to less than 18 years to 33 to 37 years of the age. Number of offenders in each case. This is also important slide of this study. That is how many offenders were in each cases. That is more than 80% cases, the offenders were involved alone for the crime. In this study, it was also found that the rape has been committed with other crimes. These are robbery, assault, attempt to murder, and murder. So After seeing this slide, we can understand that involvement of the offenders in cases, in total 69 cases, that is only one offender was involved in 57 cases, two offenders were involved in 3 cases, 2 offenders in 2 cases, 3 offenders were involved. In 2 cases, 4 offenders were involved. In 3 cases, 5 offenders were involved. And we can also see that 7 offenders were also involved in one case and many were involved in one cases. So you can see the real picture through this slide. Now we will go for law and order. So we have chosen the topic, that is preliminary investigation, case registered, arrested, sent to prison custody, 7 years rigorous imprisonment and 4,000 rupees fine, 10 years imprisonment, life imprisonment, death penalty. These are the law and order given to the perpetrators or offenders or convicted. So we can see through the pie diagram also, that is, in law and order against the offenders, it shows that at the time of news reported in print media and news media, that is 49.02% cases were registered, 37.68% offenders were arrested, and 10.14% were in judicial custody, and 10.20 cases were found punished under the section of 376 of Indian Penal Code. It was also found that under the punishment, 1.44% got 7 years of imprisonment and 4,000 rupees fine, and 1.44% 10 years of imprisonment and 2.89% life sentence, and 2.89% got the death penalty. The result shows that action was taken quickly after reporting the case. Causes for rape of elderly women. So we have, in this study, we have found what are the causes for the rape of the elderly women. So in short, we can say about that: aged women, young offenders, vulnerable women, alone in the home or other place. Offenders were mostly in drunken state. Most of the accused were known to the victims. Sometimes family members were found the accused. Physical inability to resist the incident, unable to raise alarm during the crime. Due to age, unable to muster courage to narrate the incident. Robbery purpose was the motive. Less chances to report the police station. Now, come to the next slide, that is consequences of this study. The woman was found bleeding and was in extreme trauma after the rape incident. 90-year-old multiple rape. This is the case of 90-year-old lady. So it is the case of the Noida of nearby Delhi. Second case I have reported here, that is physically she was better, but the mental trauma will take its own time to heal. Reported medical officer. So it was the case of the 71-year-old nun. It was the case of the state of the West Bengal. Third case, that is 17 years old, 3 boys gang raped women at knife point. Before fleeing, they threatened the bleeding women. She was under treatment for the trauma. Last case, that is woman was raped by the son's friend at her home, allegedly starved herself to death. So she was 108-year-old. So these are the consequences we have got. It means that is the post-traumatic stress syndrome were found through this type of the cases. Now it's time for the conclusion. All in all, elder sexual abuse is a very intricate problem, as most of the offenders are known to the victims. It indicates that the family members, relatives, neighbors, acquaintances, and whom we trust for the protection and security of our life can also be involved in the heinous crimes. All things considered, women are not safe outside their homes and even inside their own homes. Overall, it may be said that women's rape is committed not only for sexual gratification but for humiliation and to show power over another human being. In this respect, the sexual offender is looking for two things mostly in his victims, that is availability and vulnerability, and these criteria fit in the elderly women. Abuse of the elderly is an ever-growing crime due to the fact that women who are living alone and widowed with cognitive deficits are dependent on their family members or others. This study shows that most of the rapists are motivated by sexual desire. In some cases, rape is not the primary focus of the crime. But many times the offender commits another act such as robbery or is under the influence of intoxication. The causes of crime includes victim believing on other person easily, unawareness of victim about this type of crime in old age, not having courage to disclose such type of crime easily, hesitancy of both victim and her family members to report at police station, a sluggish court system, and few convictions are the important reasons for the increasing number of cases against elderly women. To maintain the dignity of elderly women, we need better law enforcement, speedier justice delivery system, and mental assistance services, medical services, special services at trauma centers, monetarily help if needed. Only then women can live in society without fear of crime. Criminologists, psychologists, social workers, gerontologists can also play an important role to mitigate the problem. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your session. All the members, do you have any questions for Mamta Patel?
I don't have a question, but I certainly have a comment to say that this is shocking and frightening statistics that you're bringing to us. And I'm also very surprised to hear of even people of the age of 100 being raped in India. What I would like to know is there any comparison between rape cases of younger women and rape cases of older women? What is the differences in these cases?
Yeah, there are no this type of study in our country. So my scholar is doing work on this type of, that is rape offenders, but there is no comparison between. We have not done any those who are older and those who are younger. And because it is very difficult to, because data in our country, when we compare that youngers are more in number and elder are less in number, it is very difficult to compare between both of them. So that's why we have not done any type of this type of study.
But the perpetrators of rape in the younger are similar to the perpetrators of rape in the elderly? Is it also family members, or is it not related so much?
Yeah, I have seen the data of younger rape cases in India, especially in India. Rape cases has been started from the year of the 2 years. We have seen the cases of from 2 years to 108 years old lady. So perpetrator, 90% perpetrators are known to the victims. So this is the main thing in our study.
Thank you.
I have a question as well. It was just an amazing presentation. Thank you so much, Professor Mamta, first of all. What is I don't know, maybe you said and I missed it, but what is the difference from the support given to these older women, if you also have some idea compared to younger cases? Like, what is the difference of psychological support that they seek or they have, if there is some difference related to that?
No, same thing has been given. Treatments are given to the victims of smaller one, those who are younger and elder, because I think not less than 4 or 5 years, that is Helpage India is working on collecting data, this type of things, but they have started from I think 2018. They have started to collect the data of according to the age group. So it is very difficult to us. So they have not given special any treatment to the older ladies in India.
Any more questions?